Hi, everyone. I'm Mark Mulholland. Welcome to The Upbeat, a podcast about hope and perseverance from Kelly's Angels. On today's episode, we're talking about the impact that businesses can make when they give back to the communities they serve. As most of our listeners know, Kelly's Angels is an all-volunteer charity that is fortunate to have the backing of countless people throughout New York's capital region and around the country. Among our biggest supporters are local businesses that step up to provide monetary and in-kind donations to help us advance our mission of putting smiles on the faces of children impacted by cancer or other life-threatening illnesses or other forms of adversity. Joining me today are incredible people who are leading by example in terms of their philanthropic efforts: Robert Nemer and Bill and Lucie Kane. They're using their business success to provide charitable support to area causes to improve the lives of others. First, we're going to speak with Robert, who co-owns Nemer Motor Group, including automobile dealerships here in upstate New York. Robert, thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Tell me a little bit about yourself. You were just telling me you were born and raised in Philadelphia.
Born and raised in Philadelphia. I was a school teacher in Philadelphia for a couple years. And then my dad had an opportunity to buy a Volkswagen dealership in Latham, New York. And he asked me to join him. And this was back in 1971. And I did. Unfortunately, my dad passed away in 1973.
Whoa.
And all of a sudden, myself and my younger brother were like in charge. And that was quite an experience.
The one dealership at the time?
The one dealership at the time. And over the course of the last 50-some years, we've been able to add a few more dealerships to our portfolio. We have one here in Saratoga, Nemer Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram. We have Nemer Ford and Nemer Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram in Queensbury. So that's my history.
So your dad passed away as a young man?
Yeah. My dad was 53.
He was 53 at the time of his passing. He had just gotten involved in this business, and then suddenly you find yourself, oh, this is our business now.
Yeah. Well, actually, my dad, after World War II, got involved in the automobile business.
Got it.
But Volkswagen in the late 60s and early 70s was like the hot thing at the time. And there were two dealerships in the country that were either for sale or available. One was in Albany, New York, and one was in Des Moines, Iowa. And my dad said, well, Albany, New York is not that far from Philadelphia, 5-hour ride. Let's take that, And you're right. I'm a school teacher. Now all of a sudden, I'm involved in the automobile business. A whole different program, so to speak.
So you're a school teacher. What'd you teach?
I taught the 5th and 6th grade in Philadelphia. At the time, I had 45 students, which is unheard of today.
In one classroom?
In one classroom, yeah. And one year I taught, they brought our school into the Franklin Institute in Center City, Philadelphia, which is our, being from Philadelphia, it's our scientific museum. And that was a great experience, So I learned a lot by being in a school teacher.
I bet you did, especially with 45 students.
Yeah.
So you've always had a passion for children.
Yes, yeah.
Where's that come from?
I think part of it is being a school teacher. Yeah, I think that somebody's got to help the young people, and education is so very, very important, even more so today, in our world. And that's one of the things that we really need some help with. And where I can help, which you know about, I'm there for it.
And I appreciate that. And let's state that right up front here. So you recently reached out to me and to Kelly's Angels to try to partner to figure out a way that you could help children while also helping the education in this area. So you have provided a sizable donation, a $10,000 donation, so Kelly's Angels can provide a scholarship to a graduating student from Lake George High School who will attend SUNY Adirondack. Why was that important to you?
Well, let me tell you how it came about. Okay, I'm reading the Post-Star, and I see
the local newspaper
in Glens Falls, and I see a picture of former Mayor Bob Lace. I see Fran Kokoza, who's the principal of Lake George Junior and Senior High School. I see the new superintendent of Lake George junior and senior high school, and I see a member of the staff, and I see you. And I read the article, and it said that you were trying to raise scholarship money, okay, to funnel it through Kelly's Angels, okay, into the Lake George Senior High School. And like nobody called me. I said, this is great, okay? And I reached out to Fran Kokoza, the principal, and I said, I have an idea for you, okay? If I provide some money to Kelly's Angels to come back to Lake George High School to pay for a scholarship to SUNY Adirondack, which I'm on the board of the foundation, okay, I'm doing something good for Kelly's Angels. I'm doing something good for Lake George High School because I live in Lake George, and my boys attended the Lake George schools, okay, and then obviously I've been on the SUNY Adirondack Foundation board now for 3 years, so I'm helping, it's like, this is like a grand slam.
Win-win-win,
really,
right?
Yeah. And nobody came to me, and I went to Fran, and Fran said, yes. And then I guess he ran it by you to make sure you were okay with it.
And I said yes as well. So we're more than okay with it. So education is important to you, not just children, but education, and education locally. Because you said to me the other day, in fact, that we need to make sure that our kids have the opportunity to stay locally, right?
That's very important because I was involved with the Teen Excellence program through the Post-Star. That's where I became friendly with Fran. I was involved with that for 10 years. He was involved with it for 15 years. And we got the best high school students from the area, okay? We gave them awards, we gave them recognition. But guess what? And I understand it. They all left the area to go to schools outside the area. And a lot of them don't come back, okay? So my own thing is, I want to educate the young people, but I also want to get some of them to come back to our area, okay? Because we need young people. We need to build up our workforce in this area, okay, with young people. Otherwise, it's going to be an area with just a lot of older people like me.
So with your help, we're providing a scholarship to someone who has overcome adversity, someone who has persevered. Their entire education at SUNY Adirondack will be paid. We also offer, Kelly's Angels also offers scholarships to other area graduating seniors who are going on to higher education, who have persevered in the face of adversity. You know something about perseverance yourself. You lost your dad when you were a young man.
Yeah.
You've had some health battles yourself. Are you comfortable talking about that,
yeah,
Robert?
Yeah.
How are you doing?
I take one day at a time. It's a lot of it is the aging process, which I really can't do too much about. But I tried to eat right. I work out. Okay. I do all the right things. So I just take one day at a time. And my wife she's a breast cancer survivor, 36 years. Okay, so there was a connection with Kelly's Angels. I've been following Kelly's Angels for a number of years. So there's all these, connections, So,
and isn't that wonderful? Really, I mean, really, it is wonderful. We talk about that. We talk about a community of kindness. And in this organization, Kelly's Angels has been fortunate to have people embrace the cause, people such as yourself. What's your advice? This is a podcast about hope and perseverance. In that regard, what's your advice to other people out there who might be facing health challenges or other challenges?
Well, I think hope is very important, okay, and a positive attitude, okay, and also being able to reach out to others, okay, like yourself, like me, okay. There's many people that that are out there that are willing to help. I mean, my wife was always willing to talk to anybody who was going through the same thing that she went through, okay. So all these elements are in place right now. And I'm involved with a lot of other things that you don't even know about. Okay?
Well, tell me about them. Tell me. And most of them are children focused, are they not?
Well, they're either children focused or they're healthcare focused. Okay, and I guess the healthcare focus is because I want to make sure that I'm involved with all the hospitals. If I'm involved with all the hospitals, okay, maybe they'll keep me out of the hospitals. Okay, my son and my nephew just gave a big check to Albany Medical Center a couple days ago for the children's cancer unit down there.
The Melody Center.
The Melody Center, a big check, okay? And we're involved with St. Peter's Hospital. My son's on the board of Saratoga Hospital. We just made a big contribution to Glens Falls Hospital. As a matter of fact, they gave a contribution to the new 3D mammography equipment in Glens Falls Hospital.
Excellent.
I'm on the board of Hudson Headwaters Network. I sound like I'm boasting right now.
No, we asked you.
But I don't boast about this stuff. I just do it because it's the right thing to do. Since you asked the question,
I'm glad. So what advice do you have? We're hoping to focus on your philanthropic efforts and the philanthropic efforts of your business. What advice do you have to other businesses who might have the opportunity or means to give back?
Well, that's an interesting question. I ask myself that all the time because there's a lot of people in our area that have the wherewithal to help, whether it's Kelly's Angels or whatever it is. And I understand everybody has their pet charities, their pet things that are important to them. But then there's other people that don't do anything at all. And I don't know how to get through to them, okay, except the fact that keep on reminding them, okay, and talking to them and saying them and talking about it. And hopefully one day it'll get through. It's funny because, a lot of, like St. Peter's Hospital, my dad died in St. Peter's Hospital in the emergency room. No fault of St. Peter's Hospital, but we've been giving money to St. Peter's Hospital for over 20 years. Okay, there's a connection there. Okay, now my dad didn't die in St. Peter's Hospital. Maybe we would be thinking in a different direction. I don't know. Sometimes it's what affects you that causes you to do things.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It does, absolutely. What touches you, right? I mean, and you were touched by Kelly's Angels. You've been touched by Lake George Schools. You've been touched by SUNY Adirondack. But your point to other business owners is support what touches you, I guess, right?
I guess, yeah. And I told you I will do what I can to help. Okay, I'll go knock on doors with you. I'll go knock on doors without you. Okay, because I think what you're doing, getting people to contribute to Kelly's Angels to be able to take that money, okay, and use it for scholarships. I mean, that's fantastic. And I know you have a lot of other things besides that, but that makes me feel good.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm glad it does because it makes us feel good too, and we're so grateful to have your support. And we will have an event coming up in Lake George in the summer too, where you live. So we will enlist your help for that too, Robert. And I'm so happy to hear that you're willing to help in any way.
And I was sincere. I was sincere when I said, if you need some help with something, run it by me. Okay. If I can do it, I will. If I can't, or there's a conflict, I'll tell you,
I love that. Yeah. I wish everyone had that same attitude, but it's refreshing to hear. Anything else you'd like to add about your personal involvement and your business's involvement in our community?
I don't do it because I want to see my name in the newspaper or on TV or on the movie theater. I do it because it's the right thing to do. I've been blessed, okay, to be able to do it. Okay, we're not here forever. And I want to make a contribution, okay? It's not from my obituary, and the neat thing is I was so impressed that my son went down to Albany Medical Center the other day, and they made a big deal about it, and they had this big check, and he met a mother there whose child has cancer. And this woman said, thank you so much for what you're doing, because I'm sure that somehow it's going to help my child. And he was almost in tears when he told me this. So I made an impression on my own son, which to me is the best.
There's nothing better than that.
Yeah.
No.
You have
I do.
You have children.
I have two children, and they're both on the board of Kelly's Angels now too. Yeah. So yeah, that's what we all hope for. And I should tell you that speaking of Albany Medical Center's Melody Center, we've had people sitting in the very spot you're sitting, children who have been helped and served and taken care of and are still being taken care of by the Melody Center at Albany Medical Center.
And Robert Saba is the best.
Yeah.
He is the greatest.
Well,
my goodness.
That's a great organization too.
Yeah, he has been, I've had people who needed help there, and he's there. He's there, for the people.
Exactly, as you are. Yeah. Robert, anything else you'd like to add?
No, that's good. If you're happy.
No, well,
I think I talked too much.
No, not at all. Well done, and I enjoyed the conversation, and I can't thank you enough for all of your generosity and support of Kelly's Angels. We're very grateful. Thank you.
Well, thank you for having me.
Of course. We're going to take a quick break to thank some of our underwriters, some of whom will be familiar names. When we come back, I'll be joined by a dynamic duo, Bill and Lucie Kane, who have been a very special and meaningful part of the Kelly's Angels community for years. Stay with us.
Support for Kelly's Angels comes from the generosity of local businesses, including the Nemer Motor Group, a family-owned company that includes Ford, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and Ram automobile dealerships that have been serving drivers in Queensbury, Saratoga Springs, Latham, and surrounding areas of upstate New York since 1971. Follow them on social media at Nemer Motor Group. Noble Ace Hardware in South Glens Falls, New York, which offers competitive pricing and high-quality products for just about anything you need. For more than 30 years, the team at Noble Ace has delivered on its promise to be the most helpful hardware store in town by providing excellent customer service that exceeds expectations and reflects family values during each and every visit. Six Flags Great Escape Lodge and Indoor Water Park, an Adirondack-themed lodge in Queensbury, New York, with a splash-filled water park that is always a tropical 82 degrees for a beach-like getaway any time of year. Learn more at sixflagsgreatescapelodge.com.
Welcome back to the Upbeat Podcast. I'm joined now by Bill and Lucie Kane from Noble Ace Hardware in South Glens Falls, which is in upstate New York. Thanks so much for joining me.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
Tell me about you guys. We don't need to go into the extended dance mix.
Sure.
But where'd you first meet? You're married, I should say that.
Married for 40 years.
40 years
Actually,
you've been married.
40 years this year, yeah.
So you were both children when you were married?
Pretty much, yeah. I think I was about 8 and she was 7, but not to the side. So I've known Lucie for a very long time, actually. She lived down the street in Rochester, New York. And we were married and we moved to Glens Falls in 1986.
Remind me, high school sweethearts or no?
No.
That's right, I remember that. And you said that emphatically, Lucie. Why is that? So how did it come together? Remind me how you guys met.
Just, we were out, we just happened to, we knew each other. Lucie was actually very good friends with my younger sister, Liz. And so she was around and we happened to bump into each other one evening out and, 40 years later, here we are.
40 years later, here you are. And how long have you both been at Noble Ace?
We've been in the hardware business. I have been my entire life, and we've been at that particular store about 8 years. 8 years.
Yeah. You as well, Lucie?
Yes.
Have you? Okay.
Yes.
And tell me about that. Tell me about this. It's an independent hardware store. It's an independent Ace hardware store that you're at now. So that allows you certain freedoms to help the community, does it not? I mean, it's not your typical big box type store. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so we do have that flexibility. We don't have that corporate, aura over us where we can only do certain things. We're very flexible. We have a great ownership group that allows us the flexibility, and we bring suggestions, to the plate, to the table, I should say, and they're well received. And whatever they can do, they have done a wonderful job backing us up in our thoughts.
One of the things you do every year is during October, you have a really big fundraiser. You solicit from some of your vendors, you solicit from members of the community, you solicit from employees, customers, making things for auction, for sale, in support of charity. How did that come about?
Well, you want to talk about Sue?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
A coworker of ours started this, and I believe 2011.
Correct.
She told us, correct. She had been diagnosed with breast cancer.
With breast cancer, yeah.
Correct. And it started very small, just a bake sale, just to raise some money. I believe she did the breast cancer walk that they have every year.
Correct.
And I think she was just basically trying to get some funds for that. And then it just, over the years, it grew and it got bigger and bigger. And
yeah,
she's doing well also.
And it does get big. She is doing well because
Yes.
I remember talking to her a few years ago, and she's still very passionate about the cause.
She is.
Yeah,
She
awesome
always will
human
be.
being.
And isn't that always the way that it happens? It starts with someone with a personal connection, and now this fundraiser that you guys do through Noble Ace has grown tremendously. Everyone knows about it in the community. It's been featured in the newspaper, on TV, on social media. And we're fortunate, Kelly's Angels is fortunate, that we've established a connection with you as well. And I should tell our audience that your daughter, Meredith, has been a guest on this podcast because she's had her own health challenges. And that's how we met you. Tell me about the connection that you felt and felt that you should help Kelly's Angels, because this fundraiser that you do benefits, at least in part, Kelly's Angels every year. Why is that, Bill?
Well, great question, Mark. When Meredith was originally diagnosed, and Kelly's Angels extended themselves to her in generosity and shown that kind of support towards my daughter. Lucie and I were taken back by that, and we had to find out who was this Kelly's Angels. What do they do? Who are these guys? Read into it and quickly realized this is an organization that we felt we needed to do something for. We just felt compelled at that point that it was something that we needed to do to contribute in some way, shape or form. We needed to help them. They've helped us, and I saw what they did to all these other families that they extend themselves in times of a crisis, perhaps, and so we knew we wanted to help.
It's all about paying forward, isn't it? I mean, for you guys personally, it's all about paying forward. This organization is all about paying forward. Lucie, you're nodding your head. Is that? Do you agree with that?
I absolutely agree with that, and also the fact that it is local.
Yeah.
People in the community, I think, appreciate more and want to give more, knowing that it is local.
It is local. Yeah, it's an all-volunteer organization.
Right.
No administrative costs. Every penny we raise, we endeavor to give back to people who need it in the community. Meredith, who we mentioned, she's hanging in there.
She's doing great. She's doing great. We are so fortunate to live close by. We spend most Fridays, and her little one's 5 years old, soon to be 5 years old.
And she's adorable too.
Thank you. Yeah, she's a handful, and we go home exhausted by in the middle of the day. But I wouldn't want it any other way.
What advice do you have? We spoke to Robert Nemer from Nemer Auto Group too. What advice do you have to other business people who have the opportunity and means to help organizations, local organizations? What advice do you have for them?
I just think, go into it with an open mind, and, when things are done, in groups, in mass, everybody benefits. And when it's kept, contained into a local level, that means more to me. I think the real champion here, honestly, is the community. They're, at the end of the day, are the ones who give us the baskets, the funds, the money. People walk in, just hand us money. Say, I don't need nothing, I don't want my name, just put it towards that group.
Is it gratifying? I mean, I don't want it to sound cliche, but you see customers every day. You see customers come through the doors every day.
Sure.
That time of year in particular, October, when you guys do this huge fundraiser, is it more fun?
Yeah, I mean, everybody in a store. It's about the store, the personnel in the store. They're the ones that drive it. We just kind of facilitate it and steer it once everything gets done. And it goes back to the originator of this, Sue. She's the one that started it. We're just helping, So we jumped on board to help her.
This is a podcast about hope and perseverance. How important are those two things in your lives?
Very much so. I mean, you have to have hope, right? I mean, everybody's going to have some sort of perseverance, during the course of their life somewhere, you would think, and to have high hope and just to, think about things in a positive manner is what, we feel we want to do.
And your daughter is a prime example of perseverance.
Sure.
Right? I mean, she
Absolutely.
Perseveres every day. Have you guys faced other challenges in your own lives? I mean, we all have.
Yeah.
But have you?
Nothing great, Mark. I mean, nothing that stands out. We've lost Lucie. Recently lost her mom, and so I mean, it's a couple years ago. So hey, we're getting older too. So it's fine.
Anything either of you would like to add about the importance of giving back?
Yeah.
Oh.
Whether it's to an organization that across the country or an organization across the street.
Right. Yeah. Well, we have in the past in I think it's just important to give back. We feel very fortunate that we're in a position that we can give a little bit back to whatever the organization may be. I think it's very important, and they need assistance. There's people that need assistance on whatever level it may be.
We have a very supportive community.
And yes, I mean South Glens Falls.
South Glens
and
Falls.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah,
I mean,
I know.
And we've the South High Marathon Dance,
Yes.
which is known nationally now,
Yeah.
I know.
has raised millions of dollars for
Incredible.
Charities in this community,
Incredible.
individuals in this community, including Kelly's Angels. And then that's I'm glad you raised that, Lucie, because that's what strikes me, that the South Glens Falls community is called upon so often to help. You wonder how it can do it, right?
Yeah. You wonder where that comes from.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. So our organization had gotten stronger over the years, and like you mentioned, the South Glens Falls Dance is just phenomenal. And the community rallies around it. Again, it's about the people. At the end of the day, it's our market. It's the people that drive, the things that we're able to do, whether stay open and, and help people.
So the South High Marathon Dance is in March, so that'll be coming up soon. Your fundraiser is in October. How can people get involved?
Stop in the store when it's time. I mean, if they can get involved in, on the local level with us, whether it's a current customer or a new customer that would like to, just contribute with a basket donation. We do numerous things, and they can participate that way with us. We'd be honored and grateful.
Excellent. Anything either of you would like to add?
Well, I just, I can say that, what Kelly's Angels has done, in the Capital District area, I guess I should, say that it's phenomenal. And we were just so blown away by it and taken back and just proud of that. We were able to contribute in a small way to that. So we want to continue doing that, and it's just important to us.
It's important to us too, and I'll be forever grateful to both you guys, and
Likewise.
I wish you continued wellness and health and all good things for Meredith and Brian and Maddie as well.
Thank you.
Thank you both for being on the Upbeat and for all that you do for Kelly's Angels. I'm so grateful and humbled by your support, and I look forward to our continued collaboration. And thanks to everyone for listening. I hope you'll subscribe to this podcast so you never miss an episode, and also leave us a 5-star review. Until next time, I'm Mark Mulholland. Stay on the Upbeat.
If you enjoy The Upbeat, please subscribe and leave us a review wherever you listen to podcasts. If you have topics you'd like us to cover on The Upbeat, please send your ideas to theupbeatpod@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. On behalf of the volunteer board of Kelly's Angels and the families we help who are facing life-threatening conditions, thank you for listening to The Upbeat.
Nice job, McKenna Rose.
Thanks, Dad. You too.